what's
our,
up for 15?
our buildings.
Right.
We've got to come up with money for that.
Right. Yeah.
But we have the MOU from the county. Bent Tree has approached us because they're under a mandate with the EPA to contract to put a sanitary sewer line in. So that will be an emergency if you guys approve it. We'll discuss it all tomorrow night. And I won't be here next Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. But you'll be at service tomorrow?
Yeah, we're not leaving till the weekend.
Oh, okay.
I thought about taking everything with me and zooming from the beach, and I decided,
No, no.
Could be, maybe like, oh, look.
is it 6:30 yet?
It's almost done this time. Okay, go, start. Ready to go.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order for September 8th. Pledge of allegiance, please, everybody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, has everybody had a chance to read the minutes from the August 19th meeting? Questions, comments, corrections?
There's a couple typos, but I'm not gonna worry in people's names.
Yeah, nothing huge. My name turned to Matt for like a
I
paragraph.
thought I got them all off. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. And then there's just random, odds and ends that when we get too specific, we run into trouble. It said that Scott asked if we could look for someone else. And then it said there's no one else interested. The city of Kent will do it for 25. Council wanted a licensed person. The council has put the constraints on the people and the increased cost. I didn't know if that was a continuation of what Randy said, or if it was just a random comment mixed in there. And then
You want it taken out or you?
no, it's fine. It's just, and then Westgate at Manway one step looking like Vegas because of the signs. I just for
A lot of stuff can be left out, yeah.
yeah.
All right. I'll do them this time. Motion to approve.
As amended.
I will take out any math to make sure they say
That's
West.
good enough.
Yeah, that's good.
Motion to approve is amended, removing Matt's name and putting Wes's name everywhere
So
it should be.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, does anybody have an issue with deviating a little bit from the agenda so that we can get Miss Yule? So she doesn't have to sit through our do nothing agenda?
Gregory. No, go for it.
Okay.
You should have two things in here, the original one from February that she quoted us, and then this new one that's highlighted on your agenda. Here, is that what you want to see? Everybody have, it's 2 pages.
Yep.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
So when you say general home starts at 310, investors inspection 225 flat rate, what's the difference there?
So an investor's rate is going to be, say you're investing in a home for rental or whatever purpose, and you're just basically gonna look at the overall house itself. So exterior, roof, foundation, the big ticket items, like is this worth your investment? If you're gonna do a full inspection, he's gonna make sure the door's open, every electrical.
Well,
Well,
but let's back up one
Sure.
second. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're
So-
fine.
We have, there's not a pick list of what we can choose from. We already have the ordinance drilled out pretty tight,
Okay,
right? So there's not, I don't know, when you say general home and investor's inspection. It shouldn't be two separate things from my viewpoint. It should simply be, this is what the property is, this is what the ordinance is,
Okay,
period.
okay.
Okay, and that's why she redid it here in the highlighted area, Wes.
But then, so then, I'm sorry, and so my question is, why is a duplex, triplex any different than a normal home? It's a rental property.
So the difference in the price would just be that, we did it price break as a commercial building rather than an actual home. But my husband,
Okay.
it's my husband's business. So
Okay, so-
him and I together, that's okay.
No, you haven't yet. No, you
So-
weren't here for the
Right, so
original.
I apologize.
That's
I just want to
okay.
make sure that we're talking apples to apples.
Yeah. So it's my husband's business, but I am a local realtor, so, I know that there's people here that have multiple places, multiple rentals, and we also didn't want to kill them in price by giving them 310 for every single property. So for example, if you have a triplex or a duplex, then he's gonna be looking at, more of a foundation, more, there's more to look at when you just have two pieces of a house. When you're looking at a big commercial property that you're not really gonna inspect a roof, there's nothing to inspect. It's a flat roof or it's just, a regular angle. So, there's just more to a home versus one building that has six different units in it. So his question is more, I guess we need to look over the ordinance better as to what exactly, I thought I spelled it out, but if I didn't hit all the points, let me know. But I know like the major systems are the roof, the electrical, the exterior, plumbing. With the plumbing in a bigger building, there's not gonna be much, he's not gonna follow, plumbing to every single unit. He's gonna make sure the toilet flushes, and that everything, all the water goes where it's supposed to go. Now, if you wanted to do individual, then the price of the $25 doesn't make sense. It should be the 310 for every single unit, or it's 275. We're trying to give them a little bit of a break so they're not killing one investor or three investors that own most of the town. So
it's your husband that does the inspection.
right.
From I understand, this email cutout supersedes this then?
Yes. So my question is, when you say a duplex or triplex, and then you're saying the roof exterior stuff, maybe I'm not remembering correctly, Wes, and our concerns were like to make sure that there's no cracked paint, no mold,
Mhm.
that the electrical box is up to code, that there are smoke alarms, that there is egress in every bedroom, things like that. Make sure that there's electrical
I mean,
plates, and we want all those other things, we want to make sure that the furnace is running properly and stuff, but we want to make sure that it's safe, that there's no doors that are nailed closed, we don't want to have another high street
Right.
fiasco.
Okay, I don't know that would ever happen there. We talked to a couple different city, like Ravenna has multiple inspectors, but they have a full unit of men that just do rental properties because they have that many.
Right.
Same with some of the bigger cities.
Mhm.
So obviously, part of their job as well is if their grass is too high, then they have to go back and put a sign on and go back and check on.
Right,
on that
and
stuff.
that falls
We had
under our
discussed it.
maintenance code, yeah.
We didn't have to worry about that, so I was trying to find an in-between as to what this looks like compared to other cities and how it would work for Manaway.
Right, because we have a maintenance code that addresses basically the roofs and those kind of things, and we've been working on that. I think our biggest thing was
Safety.
the safety aspects.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to make sure that the electrical is fine, we want to make sure that the plumbing is fine. that you don't go in and see mold or see the lath because the plaster has fallen down, that kind of thing.
I guess it doesn't necessarily make sense for us to go through and rehash, but I would just say, take a deep dive into the ordinance.
Okay.
And then perhaps come back and adjust the prices. I don't know.
It's probably not what your husband's used to.
It isn't. This is,
I mean, I'm sure it's whittled down to what Ken's used to doing.
Mhm.
I mean, our ordinances, so,
Okay.
I mean, I think that's what we're trying to, that's why we tried to whittle it down, so we didn't want to burden the property owners, but we
So-
wanted to make sure that the renters were
We're
gonna move
safe.
into a safe,
absolutely, I think
You
it's
know.
brilliant.
and we've seen too many,
Well, I mean, you don't want slumlords, right? You don't want to be known as
exactly,
bad rentals in that area. I completely get it. Now, if the ordinance is brought down and like, I didn't cover the ones that are on the list, if there were other things that we would replace, like say, okay, you already have a roof guy from the maintenance, then, maybe he wouldn't inspect the roofs, he can inspect more of what you're looking for here. The prices should stick around the same, because $275 is usually about a 2-hour span of time for him to look through a home. So that, he usually gets paid $310 for that, depending on the square footage. So, if he's not gonna be, like the smoke alarms, we can have those tested, the cracked paint, these are all things that like an FHA, like he would have to learn
yeah.
towards like an FHA loan, which would be good for any buyers of any of the rentals anyway. So I would just explain to him that this needs to be more of an FHA inspection.
Yeah, just read through the legislation again
Okay.
and see, like Wes said. I mean,
we're not trying to beat you up.
No,
I mean,
no,
don't think that we're trying to.
no, that's
you
why I
know,
wanted to come, so we knew we
Yeah.
we're on the same page.
we didn't pull the trigger on any of this because we want to make sure we have it right. We
Yeah.
don't want,
And then you
2/3 of
guys,
the village getting shell shocked when we,
and there's
roll
300
this out.
rentals total, around
Around.
300.
Yeah, we figured it was about 8 a month to do triannual. It was gonna be about 8 a month.
And one thing I want to point out is since it is triannual, and we are doing, we're breaking it up into thirds, right? We're gonna want to make sure that the person that had the fee in the first year is the same fee as the person that had in the third year. We don't want to jump from year 2 to year 3.
Right.
Why was his 300 or 275? Why is mine 320?
Okay,
Okay, now I have a question, though. You say 8 a month and you restrict, but doesn't the ordinance read that before you rent a property, you have to have it inspected? So anybody that's got turnover
Mhm.
in September, all
Right.
those would be due.
Right.
And then you don't know what's coming October.
Well,
You
he
don't
can
know,
also, I
like-
mean, if he wanted to do 16 a month, he could.
Right. And then you would
We don't
have-
care
so it
how
isn't-
many that he wants
Right,
to do.
so it
You know.
isn't just like we're gonna say 8 a month.
No, no,
It's gonna
no.
be however many turnover
Right.
okay.
at the end of the school year.
Right.
if it-
right,
you
but,
know.
but if, say like if I have a rental and you inspect it now,
Mhm.
and a year from now, my tenant moves out, I don't have to have it re-inspected till the 3 years.
Correct, that's, yes, but you could have more in a
Mhm.
month because it's,
Right.
housewife,
Yeah,
you
we're
know?
trying not to burden somebody that has 30 units and go down and do all 30 of theirs at one time.
Right.
So-
Do 8 of theirs and 8 of somebody else's, or one
Would
of.
you rather me give a solid, so I have 2 questions. Would you think it'd be better if I gave one solid price and not deviate on units or like triplex, duplex, that kind of thing? You want me to, should it just be like, if he goes into this apartment that has now been needed to be rented, he goes into this apartment, he does the inspection, then that should just be one price and we just leave it as one price.
Well, I think that it should be tiered, and then here's the reason. You're gonna have one foundation, you're gonna have one roof, you're gonna have, you're gonna have some overlap there. So I think that your tier down does make sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
You have one basement.
And
Yeah,
on
but if
a- on a
But if
sixplex,
it's
you're not
multiple
having a-
units, though,
Right.
then they need to be able to charge more per unit.
yeah, well, I think it should be base price,
Yeah, right,
and then your
and then
head.
per unit.
Well, and that's what's
Yeah,
written
that's
there.
what she got, has, yeah, I totally agree.
So the pricing in general, you guys like?
It's a little higher than I had anticipated. I don't think a lot of our duplexes are, I bet most of them are around 1,000 feet, aren't they?
Yeah, they're gonna be under the 25.
Yeah,
100
they're
square
pretty
foot.
small.
Or even a single, a single apartment. I mean, my apartment's 685 square feet. It's pretty small.
There's very, I don't know that, personally, I don't know any that break, and there might be 2 that break 1,000.
Right.
Okay. So do you think I should do a smaller price for under 2,500 square foot?
If that's doable, I mean, we want to keep you whole while we're
Mhm.
not,
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1,000 square foot.
As I think, like Wes said, I think if you looked over the ordinance again, you would see that, we're not asking your husband to,
Run a full inspection.
to run a full realtor inspection,
Okay.
a point
So-
of sale
but not give away
inspection.
his time either.
Yeah, we
What,
don't want, exactly.
how long do you think, for the inspection that you guys have in your mind, how long do you think that normally would take?
About 45 minutes.
I have no,
Hour max.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I really don't.
Really and
either.
truly,
I would.
you can get her done in 45 minutes, but
30, 40.
how comprehensive is that? How well is he gonna look? Is he boom, 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 zooming through there?
Right,
That's
oh.
not what we're looking for.
No, it's not.
But
It's not.
he's also gonna pick up efficiency through doing it 8 times a month. I mean, he's gonna be able to get
Right.
through these pretty quick.
Well,
I
and
would
he's
say.
also a professional.
If they all look the
Right.
same, if they were all the same
Right.
units.
You
Right,
know,
and then do you provide a certificate saying that you guys have inspected it and you approve the electrical, so that if there ever is a fire or something, we can say it's been inspected by your company, your husband's company.
We could certainly talk about it, but then it does get a little bit icky, because now I'm giving you a price on something I flew through on only what you told me to inspect.
Right.
And you're asking me to certify only what we, which is fine. It just gets, there's a lot of gray there. So, and we're okay with it as long as we are clear on exactly what
Right.
Mhm.
he's doing, then he would certify absolutely what he inspected.
Well, I think as far as, I'm sorry to.
No, I just think that we need to be clear in the law too.
Mhm.
We're not saying, hey, your electrical panel's good for, so there's no
Right.
risk to
Yeah, that,
Right.
anybody, right?
any
I mean,
inspection that any inspector ever does in the state of Ohio is for that moment, that day, that hour. It could blow tomorrow and that inspector is not liable for it. That's state of Ohio.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah, when he walks out the door, anything can happen.
exactly.
Yeah, just look over our
Okay.
ordinance again
Sure.
and take into consideration. Like
As
I
you
say,
can
we
see,
want to
we're
keep you
shell
whole.
shocked with the price, but it's not because we think it's just more than we expected
Sure.
when we first started
Well,
this
if you talk to
process.
preventive inspectors,
I don't know that I'm shell shocked. I mean, the
No,
whole
no,
reason we had talked to kind of lean away from somebody like you folks is to save money,
Right,
because we knew that it was gonna
Yeah.
cost money.
yeah,
So-
we did, and we knew to have you guys do it, it was gonna cost us more than,
and not that and ideally, even with the price that I have, it's only $10,000 a year
Right.
that would be paid to my husband. So
Right.
it's not even
right,
a lot of money. He
No,
gets
no,
his
not
job
at all.
on that.
No,
yeah,
no.
So, that's with 100 per the year and the prices that I gave you, so. He's not like trying to rob anybody.
no,
No,
no, we know
that
that,
part
we know,
of
we
it.
know
It-
that.
It is shell shock. Now, I don't want to take money out of our hands either, but have you thought about requiring, just making an ordinance that the owners hire somebody? And they just pay for it out of pocket?
That would be a thought.
And then you're
My
not
concern would,
responsible for it, except
my
that you
concern
just
would
pay the
be is, hey, here's a 6-pack.
Go dig
But-
mine.
I agree with
There
that.
you go there.
The problem is that if somebody's gonna certify, no inspector will inspect a house for a six pack.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I like the idea of continuity in the inspection, you know,
Mm-hmm.
getting comfortable with one company
One
and
person,
knowing,
One guy.
at least that's my perspective, knowing that, okay, you do this one, this one, this one, and we know that you're looking at the exact same things that we want
Okay.
looked at. And
Mhm.
I mean, that's my perception of
Oh,
it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's, yeah, and then everyone knows it's Ken Yule is,
Right,
that's the inspector in the village. I mean, and that's,
Right,
yeah,
and-
that makes so much more sense
Okay.
than 5 different people in here doing,
And
Who
having
knows
dealt-
what?
Right, and having dealt with the inspector down in Kent, it's the same guy every year, comes every year. But
Right.
then he knows the building and
Right.
knows,
Right.
he has said to me, hey, this isn't a problem today, but this is
Right.
gonna need to be fixed by next
well,
year.
and that's
And that's
exactly,
what I think needs to,
Right.
like, it might not be an immediate problem, but if you warn them, the landlords ahead of time, like, hey, this is gonna be a problem.
Okay.
well, and with a reinspection too, like, you know, if somebody moves out, then we have to reinspect, and he knows, he's going to the same place.
and if you look
He
at
knows
it,
what to look for.
if you look at it from the standpoint, $275 every 36 months, it's $7.65.
No, I
a
know, I
month.
just did the same thing.
Oh.
I want to touch base back on
It's
those
$7.
re-inspections. Say you find problems in a unit.
Okay.
Is it typical to say, okay, this needs repaired, so on and so forth, and do another inspection to guarantee that it was done? Or do you take the property owner's word that, okay, I'm going to fix that?
So being that it's coming from you guys asking for this position, that would kind of be up to you. Typically, he writes it up, and in a normal transaction, it's up to the buyers and sellers to figure out who's gonna pay for it. And that's how that goes. Now, he doesn't fix anything, so, you know, say you have a triplex and it needs a new electrical box, it's $600 for a new electrical box. So who pays for the $600? And then you're gonna have my husband come back for another $50 or $25 or however, whatever we state
For a reinspection,
To
sure.
reinspect.
to see that it was done, or you can ask them to submit a receipt that it was done by a proper person. I mean, you can kind of go both ways.
Did we address that in that ordinance?
We-
I know we bannered,
We discussed it. I don't have it in front of me.
and it's been so
We,
long.
we,
that-
we talked about having the reinspection fee and what it would be. That's, you know, when we were basing it on a certain dollar amount, because we had no idea,
Right,
you know, we were thinking that there would be a reinspection fee one time for whoever to come out again.
And what's time frame? Like, if we've got tenants that, you know, are moving out and moving in, sometimes, you know, it's,
Right.
when you sell a house, sometimes they're moving out the next day, the people are moving in.
Right.
What kind of turnaround do you guys have?
So, I mean, right now, he works a full-time job and he does inspections. So essentially, he'd like to take on Manaway and go out on his own as well and make it his own business. Unfortunately, COVID didn't let that happen this year. But if he knew that he was getting 8 inspections a month from you guys, he can also build on that. So then his time would be a lot more open. But it really just depends on, I mean, obviously, we could give 30 days for the electrical box to go through, because you have to worry about an electrician coming in and being able to do it. Any kind of plumbing, good luck right now. I mean, nobody's able to do anything until March. I mean, builders aren't building until March unless you're really, really lucky to find a builder that has material. So, you know, I mean, little stuff like that, he can come back and inspect, but I don't know if he can get it fixed within that short time frame. So you would have to probably just mark like a 30-day, have this fixed in 30 days, and then he'll just come back.
Yeah, but is your question more to the root of, if you were to tell Dick there's a problem today, would he be back by the end of the week? I mean, is he that flexible where he could?
Yeah, I mean, he can be back on the, like I said, he gets off at 2:30, and so he's free from 3 o'clock till 8 o'clock at night, so he's got a good span of time right now. But he can be back by the end of the week. You know, if it's an electrical box and there's sparks flying, then it needs sooner than,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, that's
a railing that hasn't been there for 30 years.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, so maybe he can gauge, he would have to gauge that as
Yeah.
in his profession, that he would know what's more pressing than the other.
Right. Yeah, and we would just have to trust him on that. I mean, that's his job.
Yeah.
You know,
And
He
a
can tell us
question,
what's, oh, go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
have a question for Tim, because you keep referring to as people move in and out.
Right.
Well, we'll probably be inspecting places while it has tenants, not just when somebody's moving in and out.
Oh, most of them are gonna be with tenants.
Right. So we were thinking you would send out a letter. I would like to set something up in the next 2 weeks,
Okay,
that kind of thing.
and
Huh.
so.
And you send it to the tenant and to the property owner,
Okay.
so they both know that you want to get in on a certain day.
Okay.
I mean, in the ideal world, yes, it would happen when,
And that's, I read it that because I thought it read, you cannot rent to somebody until you have this. But it wasn't grandfathered in that you haven't already rented to somebody, so that's what I was just trying to get by, that,
okay.
okay. The way it read, Michelle, am I right? I mean, does it read like you can't rent to somebody until you have
I
this?
guess I need
But
to
wait, I
really
believe
review
it's
this, because
in-
I don't
We need to
remember
print
that.
That you can't start your initial renting.
Right,
You
so,
can't start your business of renting this residence, but not, you can't change over tenants. If you might do that once every year, or even more often.
but that's what she's saying, she was, it doesn't say you have to have the inspection in the middle of a rent. You could have a 5-year lease, a 5-year
I think,
rental.
no, I think that because you're having it every 3 years, that you will have one in the middle of a rent.
Okay.
Yes. So, I mean, somebody who owns one apartment right now would have it rented currently, and at the beginning of this, or whenever they come up in the lottery, they'll be inspected, and then 3 years later, they'll be inspected again, regardless of who's there, same person, different person. That's, I think, how you guys.
That's how we
Right.
intended it.
Well, I think that's what we're.
But yeah, I'm
So
gonna have to reread it to, because of what you're saying now too, to
So
make
say
sure
I-
that it's clear.
If we pick the 100, whatever, for the first 100 for the first year, and one of the other tenants moves out from one of the other 300 properties,
They have
do
to-
I just skip over and go do one of them, or just wait till the second year when it's their turn?
No, I think they get.
Whatever,
Right.
every property will be assigned like a number.
Okay.
Pull it out of a hat, basically, however we figure that out.
Okay.
And we'll start.
Okay.
You know, they'll be at John Clark's, they'll be at Wes Hawkins, then they'll be at Jeff Benner's.
Okay.
Do 3 at Jeff Benner's because that, and then Lamplighter, do 3 down there, or however to, you know,
Yeah, so lamplighter, I would probably do a building at a time, you know, so that way it's, you
Yeah.
know, one full building.
Right.
And yeah, I don't have a list of the,
right.
what's here and what's not, so, you know, we kind of gauged as to how we did the triplex, and I only know lamplighter, because.
Right. You know, because there's apartments and basically above every business downtown.
Right, okay,
Some have 4, some have 5, some have 2. They're
Okay.
just depending. So,
yeah, that sounds fine.
You know, and some of the landlords might want all of them done at one time.
well, somebody that only has 4 or something like that,
I mean,
but,
especially if they're all in the same
but like I
area.
say,
mean,
that's
would
a
be
big hit
perfect,
for
you know,
Lamplighter.
you
It'd be a
guys.
big hit for Jeff and Eric because they have so many.
Well, once we get this zoned in as to exactly how we all want it, I know he would take the job if you want him to take the job. And I know that, obviously, all this stuff can be negotiated, we can figure it out. Then we could put out a letter, and then we could even ask if you have only 4, like my investors on the home right across the street.
Yeah, there's 3 over there, right?
And those are my investors, so, you know, I know that they're gonna want all 3 of their units
Sure.
done at one time, it's
Yeah,
one
sure.
triplex
Right.
in the area.
Yeah.
So,
No, that makes sense. I think if you go back and read our legislation.
Okay.
See what you can
yeah,
do
it's
there.
been-
And we can do this again next month, and maybe hopefully we'll have a lot of other things off of our plate for next month, and we can
Okay.
Like have a workshop.
Yeah.
To see if we can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm good with that, and I'll make sure he's here too, so he can better explain some of the stuff, but,
Okay.
I hopefully I did it right. So,
Well, thank you for coming,
oh,
and
you're
I
welcome.
think we both have a better understanding of where all our heads are
Yeah.
at on this.
Yes, because I'm,
I mean, it's been
Yeah.
since December since we had this, so we kind of forget a
Yeah,
little bit. in
yeah,
that
well,
amount
I
of
think
time.
that was when we read the ordinance, was probably January, so I'm like,
It's been 2010 since we started.
Well, yeah.
wow.
No, it hasn't been that long.
No, it's been a long
Feels
time
like
that we've
that
worked
long.
on it.
Well, I think it's a great investment. I think it's a really smart idea with any kind of renters in, in the area. I think Hiram should do it. I think, Garrettsville should do it, but they're smaller towns and, I think it's a way to make sure you're not renting to yucky people, especially if you don't know the
Well-
owners. Like you guys know most of the owners here,
Right, and the thing is you're letting the tenants know and the property owners know that everybody cares. And we're all trying to work together to make
Exactly.
these as safe as we can.
Yeah.
Nothing's 100% certain, but as safe as we can make them.
Right, no, I like it. So, we good? I'm okay?
Yes.
All right,
We're all
thank you
good.
guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I'll see you.
I apologize for asking so many questions.
No,
I'm
no,
understand what I'm
no.
voting
No,
for,
you're-
Like,
Yeah, no.
No, because you were asking questions and thinking, okay, is she thinking the
Yeah.
same way I'm thinking? That's why we have to clear it up.
Actually, you're the fresh eyes,
Yes.
which
Yeah,
which
we
is
were
nice.
staring at it for
Yeah,
so long.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I need to get my copy out and
I
review
know, I
it.
do too.
and that was why I read it weird. I read it that way and I was like, well, how is that gonna work if it's, just when they turn over?
And maybe
But
we
has to
need
be
to
every-
clarify that because too many times legislation gets that gray, can be interpreted by one person differently. So maybe we need to nail that down
Mhm.
to what we want it to be.
Well, I didn't want somebody to come back and say, oh, no, it's not my turn. I can put it off.
No, that's why we figured, no matter what, in 3 years, we hope to have the whole cycle of all the rentals done, and be starting again, a second. Whether they're vacant or not.
But that's not how it reads.
Right. That was our intent, though.
Okay, any other
Well, you're still-
discussion on this thing?
Hmm.
And we're going to go back up to new business, review ordinance 2020-39 waive fees. I don't remember what that is.
Okay, that has to do with, this is legislation that's going to be on its third reading at council on Tuesday night. This was the one that had to do with murals and signage on where, if it's a nonprofit, that the BZA and/or the planning committee could waive the $150, $200 fee, whatever it is. I'm sorry, I don't know. Okay. Waive everything but the cost of what we actually spent for the $40 for Mary Ann to take the minutes, the postage, and that kind of thing. But they have to pay the whole fee up front, and then they would be reimbursed anything but the actual fees. Everybody understand that one? Okay. The next one was,
Excuse me, Mayor, I could interrupt.
okay, yeah,
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. I
Go
don't
ahead.
have a written report because I didn't have one, anything, but I got two things today in the mail. So, 4934 Canada Road has submitted a grievance application, excuse me.
a grievance?
A variance application.
I thought you said grievance.
I
You did say grievance. I was
I meant
getting
it was
ready to
variance.
laugh.
And then also, the sub shop across the street, the new sub shop, has approval from the health department. I gave them zoning a couple of months ago, but they have the
Okay,
health department inspection too.
so we'll have to make sure that that gets to the BZA for the variance within the 30 days.
Just got it today, all the, everything's there, you know, list of properties. So, sorry about that.
No problem.
Your mayor's calling me.
Tell me you're busy.
Would he answer your phone call in the middle of a meeting? Okay.
Okay, ordinance 2020-31, that one was, God, it was just in my head and it went out. Oh, that has
Oh,
to do with site plan reviews. And we went in and amended it so that instead of them having to produce 14 paper copies, 36 by whatever, the big ones, that they would have to give us 4 of those for the pertinent people, and the rest could be done electronically,
Only residential, though, right?
only residential and single family. So that did that. At council, the first time it came back that they wanted us to take out not having to do the stamped approval, not having the, you know, an engineer or architect's stamp on it, multiple things. And it came back to us last month and we said we weren't going to change it.
No, we're not changing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one we thought.
Yeah, just so you and Tammy are there to explain it on Tuesday when it comes up again, that
Yeah, because we discussed the council can amend
council
anything we
can
send
amend
them.
it themselves if they
You
want.
know, if they want to do it, fine.
I just, the way it is, there's 18 questions, Tammy, in that section.
Yeah, I saw all those. Yeah.
And a lot of times they apply to a builder. We've always been flex enough, I think, that as we go through those, there might be an NA because it doesn't apply to them. Some of them are pertinent, just because the state of Ohio or the county building department doesn't require an engineer's stamp or an art, doesn't mean that we can't ask for one. And we want to make sure that somebody just didn't draw something on the back of a barroom napkin and this is what I'm building. That's kind of been our thoughts. Did I explain it well enough?
I agree.
I mean, they're there for a reason. And we, you know, we have with Napa, we said, okay, you don't have, you know, that didn't apply. But then we made other things.
Yeah, we went through enough site plans and they've all gone rather smoothly.
This
And
was
when-
the first one that we've had complaints on
Yeah,
ever.
It is.
And, we trimmed it back significantly on the basis of the main complaint. And I feel as though it's been handled correctly.
So do I. So that's that. Just wanted to refresh the two council. You're on this committee as a council person. Randy Scott is on as a citizen. Because he's been on it for a bazillion years.
You look young for bazillion.
I tell everybody I'm 80, but, you know.
Okay, Landmark Committee request for review of street sign, post signs, and quote, John T. was going to contact District 4.
And I have, and they did not contact me back, but Chad called Mayor and I called Chad back and they deferred to John Trickle. And that is our highway maintenance manual, traffic manual, as we stated previously. If they want to design a breakaway post that is a 4x4 and put something over top, which is like I said, they can do that and they will defer to the village, the city, whoever. And I know Chad well enough too. so.
Yeah, that's
I
what,
said, John, you've been in this long enough, you know it. I know it, but
yeah, I
we want
explained to
help
him about
from
the
you
breakaway and everything.
exactly.
He said, whatever you guys decide, let us know. We're behind
That's
it.
what he said. You know the traffic code, make sure. No different, similar to what mailboxes are.
Yeah.
Mailboxes are on the right of way, but they should be breakaway. We're not gonna allow them to put up a steel pole in the right of way or a mailbox like they do sometimes brick. You know, if that person would happen to hit that brick mailbox, they are liable for that damage or that damage.
Okay.
We don't want to be liable.
Kept that
And then
car out of
district
Heinel's
will-
house.
Yeah, check that car at Heinel's house, yeah.
So I'll get with Tumas and talk to them, see if they can get those made and to slip over a 4x4 is the easiest way to do it and have them replicated. And then they would fit the criteria with after we do that, we just submit it back to Chad. You don't see the issue.
Okay,
Okay, so we're pretty much done with that one then, right?
yep.
Correct.
Okay, the request for review of 450.09 lighted signage, discussion on possible changes. Do we have any new discussion on that?
We had asked Michelle last month for something on this, if I recall,
And I emailed it to everybody.
and I made a copy of it for everybody. I tried. Oh, see, now Wes is looking at it, looking for it.
I can't get on the internet here.
How come?
Because I changed computers.
Yeah, Tammy, it's this one that I brought out that Michelle starts with the non-conforming sign regulation she has at the top. But it is in our books under 45009. Sorry, John, I don't mean to take over your meeting, but
Yeah, that. I didn't know.
Scott does the same thing. Right? Not
Been
tomorrow.
known to.
It's easier when you're
tomorrow.
involved in it day to day versus. Page 122. Okay, 450.
I guess if we do something and make a change, I understand when we're all talking about this, but we've let things over the years and not just the last 8 years and the different kinds of signs that are up. And it would be nice if we tried to have all cohesive signs. I mean, I'd like to see all wooden signs with just a little light over the top of them. That would be wonderful downtown. But, I mean, what do you do about the subways and the Circle Ks and the marathon stations? I mean, I guess you could
They're there
restrict
until they-
those.
Yeah, so they move out and
Subway, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's true.
I saw a Walmart in Berlin, New Hampshire. I don't know if you know where Berlin is, but
I thought it was in Europe.
it's way up north in New Hampshire. And the front of the Walmart is facing the parking lot, which is like facing the side.
Mhm.
But the side of the Walmart that faces the main street looks like an old building. It was hilarious. I was looking at it, and I was like, that's a brand new building that looks like an old
So
brick
they
building.
virtually just turned the building to
To turn the
comply
face
with
Right.
local
Well, you
regulations.
even said about, either you or Wes had said about the
The
Dollar General over in,
Up in
yeah,
Fairport Harbor, did the same thing. So you can't tell what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you can see it from the side, but the side that faces the main street, it's a huge Walmart. It was like, wow, okay, so laws do work.
well, I said.
You can
it's-
get them to
it's Sedona.
conform.
McDonald's isn't yellow and orange, it's Sedona colors that's muted
right.
teals and stuff, so you can make corporations.
Well, like when you go down Prospect Street, most of those signs are the same. They're pretty much cohesive wooden signs. I am a little concerned, the Jake's Restaurant sign is being held up by a piece of rope right now. Oh, well, it looks a little sketchy. I hate to see it come crashing down.
What, did it pull out a wall or something? Or
It was last week, it was put off, stop by.
Yeah, she's got looks like a piece of clothesline, but I'm sure it's a rope that's on it, holding it, and it's still cockeyed. It was,
Wonder if rain got behind the bricks and stuff.
could be, maybe the bolts on the old metal bracket, finally gave way.
It was just, 2 years ago when the bricks fell off the back of K&K,
True.
that storm pulled out
Mhm.
the cables and
But maybe, maybe we should address it as people replace signs that they,
You have to, you're not allowed to non-conforming.
Right.
You're allowed to repair. If you don't do that, tell me how long, Michelle, with my experience, then you're gonna get your whole zoning bill thrown out, you better start from scratch.
well, I know that the Village Tavern, they got some kind of a grant from the DMRC to replace their sign. And they basically want to just make it the same way, and it's it's just a little sign that hangs out front. And I referred them to you. I don't know if they've reached out to you yet, but said, fill out an application, or come in, I'll help you fill out the application. I said, but they're probably, just for you to be redoing exactly what's there, because Frost are going to do it. So I can't imagine it being a big deal. So I don't know. You guys decide what you want to do.
Has the sub shop put up do they have a sign yet?
Small hanging, yes. 2 by 3 or something like that, 6 square feet. They put one on, like, you'll have a Jake shop full of them. They put their, didn't get out of yet.
Mhm.
And we try to steer them in that direction every time. Absolutely. Forcing us to do the hard part. We can steer them the right way, and a lot of times they will conform.
Yeah.
Exterior lighting, no traffic, no backlit signage. Try to put like restoration for the boards, for example.
Yeah, it'd be perfect if we could get everyone to do that.
I actually really like 450-16. I think he hits a lot of good points. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go through and read it. It's pretty solid.
No, I couldn't read it because I don't have it in my book.
It's right here.
That's it right here. Well, I just got it.
I tried to be efficient.
Yeah,
I mean, it goes through any alterations, change, size, content, trade name, different words, needs to conform.
mhm.
I like D, that if the structure is vacant for 90 days, that, the non-conforming sign or sign structure shall be removed when the use to which the non-conforming sign is vacant for 90 consecutive days. That's gonna cause us to really get some traction. And that if it's destroyed by a storm or something, over 50%.
50%, yeah.
Yeah. And then B is good, basically saying that we're not trying to make anybody change. We're not trying to make you not repair your sign, but if it does exceed these thresholds, that he's replaced. Yeah, it's good.
Did you write that, Michelle?
I seriously doubt it.
Is that only because I said it was good, or?
Well, I guess I was on planning commission when this whole, actually, I think I just started and they were at the tail end of it, so I don't think I can take credit for any of that.
Reads.
Where is?
Hmm?
I'm looking for non-conforming. 450.
D16, sure.
Sixteenth is alteration of the sign.
times. Currently in the code.
It's
Mhm.
450, what, 14D.
So we could remove all of 45016 and put in, do we have the same number?
Yeah, just replace it.
What?
Hmm?
What are you guys talking about?
Your number
That's
45016,
ours. That's not somebody else's.
That's ours.
That's ours. That's what we have.
The top part is ours. This is Manway.
The thing you wanted from Garrettsville was something about their, property maintenance advisory board under 480. That's different chapter.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I understood.
I think it's good then.
yeah, we're fine. We
The
don't
only
need to
thing
change.
you really want to decide is, do you want to outlaw backlit signs? Because the current backlit signs can stay until they fall apart and have to be replaced, or a new business comes in, or you can just keep backlit signs being allowed. And not do anything. Right.
I'm on board with as backlit signs get bad, then you don't let them replace them. So however we want to write that.
Does it just for 5016 just get added in? This includes backlit signs?
Well, no, I think that we just have to decide what signs are and then whatever, everything else should be non-conforming.
Let's see. General sign regulations, 450.06. Criteria for construction, design, 450.07.
It's 15007 C.
Eliminating, yeah.
There you go.
So we need to add,
I mean, I think we just would remove, yeah, well, illumination of signs, signs shall not be permitted to be illuminated.
but we got to make sure that people that have them right now, we can't.
Can't you just add it to 3, no part of the thing signs shall be revolving, oscillating, or otherwise be designated to move or backlit?
Where are you?
3, under
Oh, under A.
Yeah.
Construction standards.
construction standards.
Yeah,
Well,
2, too short.
I would have it under C, illumination of signs. Signs shall be permitted to be illuminated in compliance with the following. A is about external only, so that one's fine. B says the lighting of any sign, and you do strike whether resulting from external or internal, because in a later section, maybe 2 or 3, signs shall not be internally illuminated. They just add like a C3.
That sounds simple.
I know.
Can
contrary
we
to
do-
popular belief,
can we
sometimes
do
they try to
that?
Make things simple.
say it again for me, Michelle.
Add C3, signs shall not be internally illuminated. And
So for
strike
B,
part of B.
Strike it from B.
Just take B totally out of it.
No, not totally. Just take out the phrase that says whether resulting from external or internal illumination. So it'd be the lighting of any sign shall not be of such brightness so as to cause blah, blah, blah. And then you'd add 3, signs shall not be internally illuminated.
Okay.
You can't have a mirrored sign.
Okay, so we're gonna do a 45007 C3. Signs shall not be internally illuminated, right?
And then a strike on
Gonna strike on what? On
On
B?
B.
From weather to illumination.
Okay. Okay, you got that, Michelle?
Just type it like in front of you.
Hmm?
Let's just type it in here.
Yeah, type it in there.
Do we need to put in a 3A that any internal lighted signs that are scheduled to be replaced cannot be replaced with?
No, because I think 45016 would take care of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Other than maintenance, no non-conforming signs shall be restructured, remodeled, relocated.
So then we're covered.
But if they're gonna put up the exact same size sign with the exact same verbiage and the exact same colors and logo, A doesn't cover it. You know, if you've got a certain Marathon or Circle K and it's gotten real faded, and all they want to do is replace to just improve the visual effect of it, same sign, it's just new.
That is allowed.
Right,
That's
they were
right.
allowing
And it's still allowed.
maintenance.
Okay,
Well, is it being reconstructed if it's doing that?
No, if they're just replacing the panel on the outside. I mean, if they're replacing the whole thing, then that makes different, but if you're just popping out a cracked or faded,
Or one side just blown off in a storm.
Right.
Certainly get a new side and put it back up. Not beyond 50%.
okay.
But at the same time, at that time, when they do it, we approach, hey, instead of doing something different, externally light,
Mhm.
try.
Well, with the new language, it makes it simpler. You don't even have to try, just tell them no.
you'll have to give me that verbiage in the morning, Michelle.
How about, I'll send it to me, I'll send it to you.
Okay,
Although it's not very nice because it's all in small letters.
that's all right.
So
So we need a motion,
are
right?
you moving to send this to council right now? Hey, why not? Let's just pile it on for them.
Is there a motion on the floor?
You guys are gonna be, you're gonna be gone.
Oh, it doesn't have, it could be for next month. We're not gonna get 480 this month.
Okay, Tammy's motioned. Do I have a
Then
second?
Don't move yet. Otherwise, it's gonna go on the agenda for next week.
So when it says,
Yeah, we can put that off till probably more.
That's fine.
I'll bring it up at
Okay.
council when I'm doing my report. I'll tell them we
Let 'em know.
discussed it.
There's gonna be something coming.
All right.
That's cool.
That we're
Fine
gonna
with
be
me.
adding a section.
Yeah.
But we wanna look at it,
Okay, I'll just, yeah, I'll bring it up.
because that's usually what we do. We do it and then we wait till we see it in the minutes.
Okay,
Yeah,
review
let's do that. I'll bring it up in the report. I'll just tell them we're gonna add.
okay,
a
and then we
section.
just want to review.
45007C add a 3
And a strike.
and a
Yeah.
strike.
Okay, then we'll review it on our October 13th meeting
Okay,
with plans to send it to council for October 20th then.
yeah, let's do that.
Sound like a
I'll
plan?
just tell them we'll have something at the next meeting.
so when it says that supporting, and I'm just throwing this out there, what does it
Okay.
mean to you when it says supporting structures for non-conforming signs shall not be replaced unless such replacement will make the sign and sign structure conforming in all respects?
Where you at, Wes?
I'm right above C, 2 lines above C.
Okay, in B, okay.
Yeah.
right, well, to me, that reads, if Circle K's sign got taken down, let's say, post and all.
Yeah.
That they couldn't replace the post.
So what's, is a supporting structure also a bracket?
I would think so.
So if, and this is not my intent whatsoever, but then putting it out there, if Jake's bracket were need to be replaced,
Then they would have to replace the whole sign with a conforming sign.
that's a little aggressive in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I get what, I don't, because the sign's in.
I mean, that's how, to me, that's how this reads.
Because the sign's in good repair, but if it needs a new bracket.
I mean, to me, that reads that if you're gonna replace the bracket, the sign has to be conforming.
That's how I read it too. It seemed a little aggressive. Which,
Yeah, basically it says if the supporting structure goes bad, you can't use that sign anymore.
yeah,
But you could repair the supporting structure. Where do we go?
So they're just
You
gonna
know-
find a new way to attach the same bracket to the wall,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a,
fill up the hole with cement or whatever kind of stuff.
Yeah, epoxy it and
Gorilla glue.
put a new lag bolt in it or something. Or Gorilla Glue.
or they weld some more pieces to
This guy
the
goes,
bracket.
right, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be something we decide tonight, but I just wanted to get your guys' read on that.
No, we're not sending it forward, so let's ponder it.
Let it marinate for a month.
Yes.
yeah, you have a point there though. But that's the only
Unless you're-
sign.
But,
When you
so,
think about it, it's the only sign in the village.
well, it has its pros and cons. The Circle K sign, if a truck were to take the pole sign down, I wouldn't be heartbroken because they had to replace it with a conforming sign.
Right.
So that's not a bad on my part, but if, Jake has to replace their sign just because it has a
Right.
lag bolt or whatever that,
Right. The light shield pulled out of the wall
Right.
and they, yeah.
What if the
Or
high school
something.
sign got hit? What if something happened to the high school sign?
They've already replaced it once.
They never got a permit for it in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm,
They were told they didn't need one.
mm-hmm.
John Vetri said, no, they didn't need one. It was on private property and schools were exempt. So again, good old boys at work.
So,
It's subjective.
so you can put up lighted signs on your personal property? That's fancy. I mean,
But it can't spin. And it can't have rotating. It can
Well,
only
the
go
sign
up.
itself is stationary. Okay.
All right, so
Anything else on that?
Wes, you have a good point.
He usually does.
But I almost feel like that's one of those that you're damned if you do and you're damned if
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Because you
It's-
can't pick and choose.
You can't pick and choose, and as much as you want to be subjective,
Then
You
you're
know.
picking and choosing.
you're picking and choosing, so we can't, it's
Yeah.
it's either A or it's B.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're gonna have to figure that one out.
well, tell her your sign fixed quick.
Before we get it figured out.
Yeah.
Okay. I've lost part of my agenda.
Hmm?
I've lost part of my agenda. Oh,
Which
here it is.
part?
Never mind. Got it, found it.
Okay, ready to move on? We're going to review the changes that we recommended to the maintenance code, section 480.
I went back a whole year and this is what I found. Some of them, no, I did. Like I had. a lot of things that said, like, oh, I tried to clean that up. As we went back and made some changes last week, so. These are all I have, and Michelle went back and looked also, so we're,
Yeah, they look great.
I had a question while we're going over this, where we have 48012B, trees, grass and shrubbery, subsection 2, of course, we agonized over this long and hard.
mhm.
Grass and weeds on improved parcels shall be maintained, and we struck on improved parcels. So that means that every unimproved parcel, including like the 13 platted lots behind my house that are just kind of in a swampy area that they really can't get to, those have to be maintained, mowed, and kept under 9 inches in height. I'm just saying that's an example within the village that may make that new amendment difficult to enforce.
That makes sense. So how do you draw that line between a parcel in the middle of town that's street front but not improved versus the situation you just referenced? I mean, how do you
Oh, that's a good question.
How do you weigh
I don't
those?
know. How do we? I mean,
Where's their 13 platted lots behind you?
behind the
Behind
pharmacy.
the pharmacy.
I didn't realize we allowed that to go through. I thought that's what that $3 million lawsuit that I
It was
was in.
platted before the lawsuit happened, but right now,
It's,
it's still a platted area on the county tax map, but there's issues with building there, and it's swampy anyway, and it's very hard to get back there. I mean, every 10 years or so, Buckeye comes through and hacks down all the trees, but that's about all you can really do back there. It's hard for even them to get down there.
Well,
What's that?
I say make them follow the rules.
So,
tell them to mow it. Tell them to mow it, John.
Skid steer in there with a long arm.
so I don't know.
That's always, that's why it's approved and not approved.
Well, that's kind of why enforcement can be discretionary.
Well,
you know?
yeah, because, I mean, like, the lot on the corner of High and Main, Sontag's old, is that an unimproved lot?
It is an unimproved lot.
Okay.
It's basically so I know you don't want to exempt that lot,
Right.
right?
We're back to that picking and choosing that we're not allowed to do.
Bruce Street, I don't know.
It's super fun site, right?
Lots fronting
On an actual
on a
street.
dedicated,
Yeah.
dedicated
Well,
and
but you said
accepted.
those are dedicated.
Well, no, I mean, okay, then if it's dedicated, then you've got
With street frontage?
that whole area up the subdivision where Ian's lived, remember when that got all?
There is,
zoned?
yeah, there is no
Even
street
those aren't
frontage.
dedicated, they may be dedicated, they're not accepted,
Right.
are you gonna enforce it in there? Accepted,
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 approved street. That's, that's semantics, huh?
It has to have street frontage, that way you have to be able to get to it. Because the property behind you doesn't have street frontage, correct?
not actual improved street frontage, but they do have street names.
Are there streets in there?
No.
No,
It's just on the plat, they're platted streets, but they don't exist.
Yeah, the actual access there, the village doesn't even plow.
right, so if
Because
you
it's
don't
not.
have- I don't think street frontage, there's not a street there, just a name, that's not really a street.
So they're really not gonna be able to be sold without utilities, or built on without utilities, since it's in the village. It would have to be what, acre or 2 acres that have a well and a septic, so,
No,
How about-
water and sewer back there.
yeah.
But
Well, that's what I
one of
mean,
the
but there's
houses
no
has village
utilities.
water and a septic tank. Because the sewage doesn't go down that far. The last,
Oh, well,
the last-
Hopkins,
huh,
Yeah.
no,
Calipus.
Calipus house.
Oh,
the
right.
last house there across
Yeah.
from Anita Hansler.
Used to be Jamie Tyler's.
Got village water, but he's got a septic tank because sewer line didn't go that far.
Not within 400 feet.
Yeah, that was quite the cluster back in the day. How do we clean that?
Utility
Tim?
improved?
I'm good with street frontage. I mean, if it doesn't have street frontage.
So on parcels with parcels fronting on a village street,
Yeah, but then that takes us down to Napa. They keep the front halfway mowed, but Canada roadside they don't.
well, but they front on.
They
yeah,
front,
they're
they front,
Fronting on
yeah.
On Main Street.
village
Yeah.
street or state highway, fronting on a village street or state highway, just so people don't get picky.
Mhm.
So their lot fronts on the state highway, then that the whole lot is covered by the ordinance.
Okay.
What do you think? Anybody, what do you think? I'm just throwing out language here, I don't know all the answers. Uh-oh.
I think that's the intent, you want to have it very cleaned up.
I mean, they do make the front of the, all the way to the back of their building does look nice, but I mean, it's maintained. The drugstore.
Right.
I say nobody in the village got back 40, right? I don't know. Nobody's got-
Remember, that's where we were gonna build that
Medical
center.
arts
remember
building.
That's right,
Back,
the one that we held up.
back when Robinson had all the cash to spend. Right before they sold to UH.
They came up for like one meeting. It was,
But we
Yeah,
held
because
them,
I'd already known for months that UH was buying them.
Right.
It was like, who are you kidding, people?
yeah, but I'm the one who took the hit for that because I had to tell them they needed more stuff. And it put them over their deadline with the hospital.
Yeah, it would have been nipped in the bud. It would never have gotten off the ground.
Well, if we would have allowed them to go on, to start digging, it would be up there.
Sitting at some.
Tell us when you're ready, Michelle. Oh, excuse me.
Okay, so what I have is grass and weeds on parcels fronting on village streets or state highways shall be maintained, dot, dot, dot. Yes, okay. Now it's a unanimous.
I think that's,
I'm
I
fine
think
with it.
that reads fine.
Yeah. Any other changes in,
Did you put and or state highways or and state highways?
Or state highways, because every parcel only has one front, right? Or do we treat corner lots as two fronts?
No. One front.
It's always
No,
one front.
Wherever your address is that's the front.
So I just wrote or state highways.
Okay, that way I can leave my side yard grow.
that's right.
So
I think somebody will complain. Tell Harry, go walk by Clark's. You're walking, Harry. Go walk.
No, he's riding his bike now.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's riding his bike 10 miles a day.
according to him, he used to walk 10 miles a day, so it's a lot of walking. in one
A lot of
square mile.
walking.
Yeah, he chewed on my ear for quite a while today.
He needs a life.
Yeah, he does.
Excuse me. So are we gonna make a motion tonight to move this to council, and that means it'll be there next week, or do we wanna wait and send two next month? since we have two that are sitting in council now.
Yeah, we better bank.
Space them out.
We'll bank too, so we,
That way we'll see it in writing next month and we'll make.
Yeah.
I'll even write that authorizing legislation, so everything's ready to go. All you guys gotta do is say that looks nice.
Okay,
Okay,
Send it.
yeah, we don't want to confuse council.
you know.
yeah, because that's always stuff that has to go 3 months. And to step back, 31 and 29, I must have the numbers wrong on here.
It is, it's
Where you at?
30 and 31, sorry. Those have to be tabled on Tuesday night because we didn't have enough time to advertise
Oh, right,
for the public hearing.
right.
Wait, where are you?
back at the beginning.
The waiving of the fees and the
Oh,
site plan reviews.
that's 30 and 31, is that what you said?
Yeah, sorry,
That's all right.
39 is actually 30.
39 is actually 30.
No wonder I'm confused.
Okay, now why do we have to?
We
table
have to
these?
table them. You guys will have to table them on the third reading because we didn't have enough time to advertise to have
Gotcha.
our public hearing.
Okay.
We had 2 months.
We really didn't because Paula sent it back to us and then planning was after council and never
Right.
mind.
Gotcha.
It got into a cluster.
Is there an acronym for cluster?
Probably.
Yeah,
Use-
let's not go there anymore. See the
Run
tape.
camera.
The film is running, John.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good with just changing fronted on streets and state highway. We'll have that
Village
fixed.
streets or
So,
state
right,
highways.
we'll have that fixed next week.
That sounds good.
Okay,
That was easy enough.
okay, keep going, John, you're on a roll.
Okay, I mean, ground surface hazards. Pretty straightforward change there. No changes in 48012F, 48012.
Yeah, it's just the first sentence, the rest was a bunch of the narrative.
Confused.
Michelle will have it all in ordinance form next month. So don't forget to do your motion
Do what?
your motion to change 48012B, number 2. Grass and weeds.
Oh, we'll do that
You
when
could just vote on it next month.
we see it,
Okay.
when we see it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't,
You had questions about the property maintenance advisory board, that was the only other one you thought you might want to change. Did you want to change it like I sent to you and kind of consistent with Garrettsville's, which says, whatever it says. Yes, you can change yours to say the Garrettsville Planning Commission shall act as the property maintenance advisory board.
okay. That's probably what Rick was calling me about. Tell me that was all right. They'd be our advisory
mind.
board.
He
Yeah,
doesn't mind if their planning commission acts as your property
Yeah.
maintenance advisory board? So I mean, I can add that into the amendments for 480.
So remind me again why, so why do we need this?
I think you brought it up.
I probably did.
Let me find it in the minutes.
I thought the whole idea of talking about this board was,
Matt said.
I thought the whole, yeah, I thought the whole idea of talking about that advisory board was to take it out of the planning commission's hands.
I thought, yeah,
No, right now it is its own separate board. Right now, the way it reads is the property maintenance advisory board shall consist of at least 3 Mantua Village residents qualified with experience and or training and are not employees of the village. So it's actually another board that would have to be appointed.
Oh, no, we don't want, we don't
Because
want,
you can't get people to sit still long enough to be appointed to anything.
well, we have certain people that we would rather not have appointed, so.
Yeah, I don't even see it on here.
I'm gonna call myself deputy mayor.
Which is probably better than deputy
You don't have to
dog.
vote on it, right? I can just be the deputy mayor. You have to prove me not to be.
You gotta take Captain Grief though.
So do we want to add that in?
So actually, what is numbered 1199.11 would replace our 480.101,
3.
3.
We can strike out the board shall be appointed by the mayor.
And the mayor's tired of appointing people.
Right.
Mhm.
So we're just interested in C, part C then, right? Garrettsville's part C.
Yeah, which is composition of qualifications, or you can just get rid of the whole thing too. I mean, that's an option.
Get rid of 480.100, you mean?
Good. You don't want to have advisory board.
It would just become a bed of roses instead of a cluster to do that, because it would be like it used to be. The mayor could interview people, make their recommendation to council. Now we always have to have council interview everybody. So, I don't know.
But we don't have to have council review it. I said we do not have to have council interview everybody.
Right, that's just always been a courtesy since I've been mayor.
Exactly. But it's not a written rule.
Right. I say let's just take out 480.100.
I agree.
Who's on this one without it?
Yeah.
I'm a first, Wes is a second. Aye.
Alright.
Sorry, Tammy, I didn't mean to answer for you. Her hand went up.
You're fine.
Okay. Legislation next one?
Cool.
Okay, so we're at.
Right.
Okay. Ready to move on?
Mhm.
Yep.
Mass Road Bridge, nothing's changed there.
I've never heard anything back from them on the municipal bridge program to see if what's happening there. I mean, the Ohio Bridge Partnership, sorry. John, have you ever heard anything?
I'm not, since COVID, I think they didn't release anyone yet.
Yeah.
I haven't been told.
Okay.
If I have time when I get back from vacation, I'll shake a couple chains, see if anybody knows anything.
John, do you have anything to add to your zoning maintenance issues that are listed on this between West Frank? No?
That's what I mentioned earlier.
Okay,
So we can take the last one off.
Yep.
Has Randy Roberts ever gotten back with you on Teeters and Matthews?
Both the, Teeter called and they were gonna talk to him. Matthews never got back.
Okay. And the only one I don't see on here, and I'm the one who missed it, I think you and I talked about it, 107,
Yeah, the part, the letter's been sent, but nothing's,
Yeah.
no response.
Dr. Janovic's old office, has 2 apartments upstairs and has a doctor's office down below. They've converted the doctor's office into a living space without a change of use or any permits. And so John has sent them a letter to contact us and they're not, so. And that's the same thing that's going on with Teeters. They started putting an addition or something on their house without any permits and then tried to say that we told them they didn't need any permits. And then Christopher Matthews is over on First Street, the house that's up on blocks, or
that's not,
Right.
Navi Friend's old house.
I know, I've seen it.
Yeah. He's
Been
not
on blocks
responding,
forever.
showing your age.
he's not responding to,
It's a daylight basement, right? I mean,
Huh?
Isn't it a daylight basement he's putting in? Is that what
Yeah.
Flow through.
It's walkout basement kind of.
tomorrow's Wednesday, right? I'll give Randy a call,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
in tomorrow. Not that I'm stepping on your toes, but just, I can get him during the day when you can't.
Okay. Orchard Street widening started today with issues, sounded like.
It's already,
The park has started.
Yeah, that got started over the weekend.
What are the issues?
there's pipe and they didn't know that they needed plate. Now they need pieces. And that's not a vitrified clay bell spigot as it's supposed to be. It's got another plastic pipe shoved through it. So hopefully it dead ends. Hopefully it's a mismatched pipe, very done, improper. I'd rather not replace that with something improper again. Because if that's a 12 that eventually hits a 48, it should be coming out of the ground someplace now. So if they did
Oh, it
that,
done dump into the river?
Well, they think it's capped off down at
it's
the
kept
end.
off up this way somewhere. That's why. If not, you see it's significant, unless it's downsized all the way. But I mean, that's all you would need is probably a 12-inch for that drainage pattern, not that big of a drainage pattern, because of the hill and the curves. It's not catching much of water. I'll fucking get in there. Oh, one side.
Yeah, they had Gene Arters down there. He was down there
All day probably.
before noon. Brian was here early.
Okay, anything else from anybody?
I haven't been down lately.
Did you tell everybody last month that you finally heard back from vet clinic? That that's gonna have a site plan review through CT?
But they told it.
I know you and I had the
Yeah,
plans
we
out.
just had rough plans, they submitted them to the mayor and I already, and they're gonna submit full plans. Manfred's just doing drawings for them,
Oh, okay.
they haven't done it, it's extension in the back, so.
You brought it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
We
think
talked
did
about it,
talk
but we
about
didn't have plans when we brought it up. It was just,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that would explain why Jimmy Nyder texted me, asking how many plans he needed.
They,
I was like, it's online.
all property lines within limits and.
Yeah, they're actually, where it is now, just expand back, extend the parking lot a little bit, extend that building. Matter of fact, they'll be farther from the side property lines than they are now. And we'll see what's, the final submittal, we'll watch to make sure it doesn't change, but the original that they submitted us.
Make sure they have good drainage.
Well, that's what we're gonna have to do a total review there. The site plan, landscaping, everything else has to be done.
CT's handling that, we're not,
They will have to- correct.
it's even better. Okay,
Anybody have anything else?
already asked that.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Aye.
I,
Eight something, I don't know,
And we'll see you- we'll see you
7:59.
Tomorrow night, Tammy, you'll be at finance,
Zoom.
Zoom. And then we have
Not
service
this, that was
after.
like